Your Forma Episode 4, titled Regret, is like a jolt of electricity to the heart, unraveling a tangle of mysteries while plunging deeper into the ethical quagmire of its cyberpunk world. Airing on April 23, 2025, this episode feels like a pivotal moment for Geno Studios' sci-fi thriller as it resolves the RF model assault case while peeling back layers of Ichika Hida and Harold Lucraft's fraught partnership. Set in an alternate 2023 where the Forma neural tech records every human experience, this episode gripped me with its blend of high-stakes action, philosophical dilemmas, and raw emotional beats. As a longtime fan of cerebral sci-fi like Ghost in the Shell, I found myself both thrilled and frustrated by this installment, which swings big but doesn't always land perfectly. In the next minutes, I'll unpack the episode through several thematic lenses: narrative, visuals, character dynamics, emotional resonance, and thematic depth, sharing my personal reactions to what electrified me, what left me cold, and why this episode kept me riveted until the final frame. Episode 4 picks up where the previous installment left off, with Ichika racing to rescue Harold from Aiden Furman, who's holding him hostage in a lab to extract his system code. The narrative dives into the resolution of the RF model assault case, revealing Dr. Lexi Willow Carter as the mastermind behind a scheme to create autonomous androids free from the so-called laws of respect, which she dismisses as mere programming. I didn't like how heavily the episode leaned on expository dialogue to resolve the mystery. Lexi's lengthy explanation of her motives, while fascinating, felt like a plot dump that slowed the momentum, and I personally don't understand why the show didn't show more of her actions earlier to build suspense. I'm also against the idea that every villain needs to spell out their philosophy in such detail. It's a trope that feels dated, and I think a subtler approach, like cryptic hints woven into prior episodes, could have made her reveal more impactful. I anticipate that the show is setting up a larger arc about human-android coexistence, especially with the cliffhanger suggesting Ichika and Harold's bond will deepen. But I wish this episode had spent more time on their emotional fallout rather than technical jargon. The pacing, while gripping during the action sequences, felt uneven, and I found myself craving a quieter moment to process the stakes. Still, the resolution of Aiden's arc and the glimpse into Lexi's radical ideology kept me hooked, and I'm eager to see how these threads unravel. Geno Studios' animation in Episode 4 is a visual feast at its best, particularly during the brain-diving sequences and the lab confrontation. The surreal imagery of Ichika's dive into Aiden's memories, with fragmented visuals swirling like a digital dreamscape, was stunning, and I really liked how it evoked the disorienting nature of sifting through someone's psyche. The lab, with its sterile white walls and flickering monitors, amplified the tension, and I think the muted color palette contrasted beautifully with the vibrant cybernetic ads popping up in characters' vision, a nod to the show's immersive world building. The action scenes, especially Ichika's desperate sprint to the lab, were kinetic and well choreographed, making me feel her urgency viscerally. Ichika Hida, voiced with fierce intensity by Kana Hanazawa, is the episode's emotional anchor, and I love how her mix of genius and vulnerability shines through. Her desperation to save Harold, despite her prejudice against androids, feels like a turning point, and I think Hanazawa's performance captures her inner turmoil beautifully. Harold, voiced by Kensho Ono, is equally compelling, his cheeky facade cracking to reveal a deeper desire for connection, especially when he's bound by the laws of respect during Aiden's attack. Their confrontation with Lexi, where Ichika chooses to trust Harold despite learning the laws are a sham, was a standout moment, and I really appreciated how it showed their bond evolving beyond programming or duty. That said, I'm skeptical about how quickly the episode resolved their trust issues. Ichika's shift from suspicion to reliance felt rushed, and I didn't like how the show didn't give her a moment to grapple with Lexi's revelation about android autonomy. I think a scene of her questioning Harold's intentions could have added depth, especially given her past trauma with robots. I also personally don't understand why Lexi and Aiden, while intriguing antagonists, were dispatched so swiftly. Lexi's arrest felt anticlimactic after her bold ideology. I anticipate that Harold's true nature, hinted at as potentially surpassing human limits, will spark conflict, but I hope the show slows down to explore their emotional stakes. The supporting cast, like Yui Totoki, got little screen time, which didn't please me, but the focus on Ichika and Harold's chemistry carried the episode, and I'm rooting for their unlikely duo to grow closer. Poignancy. Ichika's fear for Harold's safety, coupled with her realization that he's more than a machine, hit me hard. It's a universal struggle to trust someone different, and I think the show captures it with sincerity. The moment when she destroys Marvin to protect Harold, defying her own biases, was thrilling, and I found myself cheering for her growth. The episode's theme of regret, embodied by Lexi's radical choices and Aiden's tragic loyalty, adds a layer of melancholy, and I really liked how it grounded the sci-fi in human flaws. However, I didn't like how the episode rushed past Ichika's emotional processing. Her decision to bond with Harold after learning the laws of respect are fake felt like a missed opportunity for introspection, and I personally don't understand why the show didn't let her wrestle with that betrayal longer. I'm also against the idea that action has to dominate over character moments. While the lab sequence was intense, I think a quieter beat, like Ichika reflecting on her past, could have made the climax hit harder. Still, the episode's final scene, where Ichika and Harold resolve to understand each other, left me with a warm spark of hope, and I anticipate that their evolving trust will be the show's emotional core. For fans of cyberpunk with heart, like Psycho-Pass, this episode's blend of tension and tenderness is a draw, even if it doesn't fully stick the landing. Your Forma Episode 4 is a bold, gripping chapter that resolves a major arc while setting the stage for deeper questions about trust and autonomy. I love how it pushes Ichika and Harold's partnership to the forefront, with stunning visuals and a haunting score amplifying the stakes. The episode's willingness to tackle AI ethics, paired with its cyberpunk flair, makes it a standout in the spring 2025 season, perfect for fans of cerebral sci-fi. That said, I didn't like the expository overload or the rushed emotional beats, and I think a tighter focus on character depth could have elevated it further. I anticipate that the show will dive deeper into Ichika's past and Harold's potential, and I'm both excited and nervous for the moral dilemmas ahead. If you're craving a story that's equal parts thrilling and thought-provoking, Episode 4 will spark your curiosity, even with its flaws. I'm already counting down to the next dive, and I hope you're as captivated by this cybernetic mystery as I am.